we get to talk about a number of things, but most importantly, I think to narrow it down, it's talking about hip hop in general. And I know you stand for hip hop. You're such a huge fan for hip hop, and I just want to start from there as well. Why is hip hop that important to you? Why are you so passionate about it? Take us all the way back.
Hip hop has been a part of my life since I was young. You know, it helped spark the musical side in me. Even though I grew up listening to a lot of reggae music, but it's because of hip hop that I started writing my own music. You know what I mean? I listened to a lot of Tupac, a lot of B.I.G., Papoose, Big L in my time. And I remember when I fell in love with it, I couldn't write my own lyrics. So my cousin is the one that used to write for me.
Shout out to the cousin.
Yeah, shout out to my cousin. And then it reached the point where I felt like, okay, I hear what you're trying to do when you write for me, but it's not exactly where my mind is at. So I picked up the pen and started writing. And that's where my musical journey started. And that's why hip-hop is a part of me like that. It's from writing rap verses to, you know, falling into that reggae touch into the Afro side, into that soul side. So it was the beginning of my musical, you know, it sparked that musical side in me.
I love the fact that they play this song in the background, because you and I are going to do a challenge. I want to see if you still remember your verse from here, because I know it from A to Z, by the way. Okay. Just put it out there. So start remembering the words if you do not remember.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yes, but also you've spoken about how you started and why it's so important to you as well. But I feel like, for me personally, I feel like also hip-hop can be used to, you know, set out an agenda to push something forward as well.
Yeah.
Do you use hip-hop as well in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, hip-hop is designed to allow people to communicate what they're feeling and what's going on within their space. So I've done that for most of my career. I do a lot of conscious music, and, you know, there's always a message that I don't get in studio unless I've got like a certain message I need to send out there. So I've got quite a lot of songs that, you know, have been, you know, just like for a specific message. Like I need to share how the people feel or how I feel about this topic. So yeah, I do use it to communicate a lot of internal things and external things that I pick up on my day-to-day, you know.
But then also recently, I think what I've started seeing you do is where you kind of like telling a story, maybe back and forth, something that you did with Musepela Chile, Black Jesus. That song is amazing. And it's the back and forth, and you were telling the story as well. Why is it that you felt like now it's important to tell a story in music? Because before we just like give us a music video, there'll be girls dancing here and there.
Yeah, I mean that's still happening. I'm just saying I don't think that's ever going to die out, because it's also the decision of the director and the artist and what they want to send out. Also remember that there's songs that are designed for the club, and you know they want to depict that club lifestyle, so they get people to dance, and that's why they have their models and everything. Not to take away from videos like that, but I just felt like the reason why we did that song is because we wanted to communicate a certain message, right? Young artists, and you know, an artist that's been in the industry for quite some time, having a conversation about how it was like before, on the financial side, on the mental side, how things were like comparing to say, listen, if you're in my shoes, like you see, like where are you at with your priorities? Where are you at with life? So it was a conversation that needed to be had, and I mean, we're able to see from the numbers and how big the song is, how it impacted a lot of people, and how people felt like, yo, this is a conversation that we felt like we needed to have, you know. So it was necessary.
Let's narrow it down to hip-hop in general in the world, because we'll be celebrating Hip-Hop Day very soon.
Yeah.
And I want to know, what influence does hip-hop have in the world?
I think it's got a major influence. We've seen this on the, you know, in the Western world. We've seen there's a lot of agendas behind hip-hop nowadays, because we do understand that record labels, you know, have like some sort of cartel, and they kind of control the messaging. And we've seen that most of that violent gangster hip-hop gets out there, and it puts the consumers of the music into spaces where they feel like it's okay for them pick up a gun and to be violent and to be all gangster about things. So the impact of the music itself is very heavy. And that's why I feel like Africans also need to have that responsibility and be able to use hip-hop to communicate with their people in a certain way, right? And I think we're now at a point where, you know, when we started, like African artists would drop bars like, I'm going to kill you and I'm going to do all these things. But that's not happening now because we've begun to understand that we're now in this space where we're in a space like this. So we might as well discuss, you know, the topics that are within our space. So the impact is very heavy, and we've seen it to drive people to making decisions that will change their lives forever. They make wrong decisions because they consumed a song that took them. Music is spiritual, so what you're consuming is something that you need to be very selective about. Consume something that will speak to your spirit and take it to the right side. You know what I mean? So it's important for you to do that.
I love the fact that you touched on Africa, you know, when African rappers and how they should also just use music to communicate a message. But I want to narrow it down to Zambia. What influence does hip-hop, because you did tell me what influence it has on you, but I want to know what influence it has on the Zambian people.
Yeah, I think hip-hop has really been struggling the past 2 years. We've seen a couple of artists that have really pushed and made sure that they're standing and they're pushing it. And I think I'll call all the hip-hop artists to get out there and do hip-hop the way it's supposed to be done. The impact is very heavy. I think we've been able to see a couple of songs that people play, like Chef's, is it Wala?
How come
you know what I mean? Like that song, I've been in a place before I'm driving and someone is singing that song and you can see the passion and it's driving them and they're working, you know. I've been to places where people are playing Slab D's music and they're using it to drive them through the day, you know what I mean? There's been places I've been to where people will give you stories about what my hip-hop songs are doing for them. So the impact is very heavy. I mean, for us creators, we like to take things very light, but the consumers are really using the music to make day-to-day decisions. So the impact is there. They're using this music to push them to tomorrow. We do understand that life is not very easy right now.
It really isn't.
So they're holding on to the music. That's where the hope is at.
I love the fact that you mentioned about the hope, but I would also like to know what influence or what impact it has on us for the creative economy, especially on the impact of culture as well as even economic when it comes to it.
Yeah, I mean, on the culture side, I'd like to think, you know, hip-hop has really, you know, been able to put a certain light on Zambia, right? We've seen so many big artists or big awards that have been gotten outside. You know, like what Zon Fam did, you know, the big songs that have happened in Africa, like the Slab D songs. Mark had a song with AKA. The saddest thing is how I feel like our institution that's supposed to look at these opportunities did not jump on that. But that's like, a chance. That was a chance, or there's actually going to be chances for the tourism side to jump on and use hip-hop, because we have the influence, we've got the reach. You know, when we drop a song, it's playing in SA, it's playing in TZ, it's playing in Kenya and Uganda. So if you know, the institutions that are supposed to, you know, support the arts can kind of use hip-hop and the artists and be able to be strategic, I think we can kind of, you know, put a bigger light on our tourism side and be very strategic with the videos that we're doing. And through those, you know, videos, we'll find a lot of people from within Africa or outside of Africa. I mean, when you put your music on YouTube, people in Europe are watching and people in different spaces. So it can actually drive tourists to come and see what's happening in Zambia, because then we have the Victoria Falls, we've got all these natural spaces. Our artists are not able to go and shoot in those spaces because they need to have the support of the tourism board. So
Well, definitely.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you've actually talked about tourism, which brings me to my next point. Yeah. I mean, we all know hip hop has allowed a culture exchange, but it has also allowed a culture exchange between Zambia and Sweden. And
Yeah.
we'll be seeing the Swedish Grammy nominated as well, coming to Zambia for our hip hop festival that we're having. And for me, this exchange, what does it mean for Zambia, for Africa, for the economy as well?
Yeah, it means we're bringing their culture to Zambia, and we're getting our culture and we're sending it out there. You know what I mean? If I'm not mistaken, there's possibilities of collaboration going on somewhere.
Just tell us if you're collaborating.
No. I don't know. Not me. But I think it's only right, and I think it's something that will be great, because that will be like a very direct exchange of culture. If that happens, then it means we're going to have Zambia very present in Sweden, and we're going to have Sweden very present here on the musical side. So it'll be very interesting. I've got a feeling it's going to happen.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We are hoping for the best as well. But also with you've been doing music for a while. I mean, like you said, you started from Zone Farm, now as solo artist, and you've managed to actually make a name for yourself outside Zone Farm and as well as for Jay Rox. I want to know, from you seeing even the journey of hip hop in Zambia and how it has come and it has evolved, I want to know from you, how has the journey of hip hop in Zambia been like so far?
I like to speak for myself. I think the journey has been crazy, but I see a lot of growth, because it's amazing now to see how many artists are surviving and surviving off hip hop. They're living comfortable lives of just music. I've been able to see hip hop artists now diversify and get into a business space and the way they view things. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's a music business, So we've been able to see growth in that space. We've been able to see our artists get in comfortable spaces. Even though, Afro beats and R&B is fighting and is very heavy. And we've seen a lot of hip-hop guys, water down and get into Afro beats just so that they can, it's important to reinvent yourself and, to fit in when things, switch up. But I also just feel like the hip-hop space needs to wake up. It's there, but it's not a lot of people that are in that space, and the way it used to be 8 years ago. I think I remember there was a time when hip-hop was the biggest sound in the country, and now things have changed. But we do have those artists that have been able to fight and shift things, and they're still standing. We've seen Chef's album that's done amazing things this year, you know what I mean? And it'd be nice to see more artists do that. But more than anything, I've seen growth. I've seen people get so comfortable. I've seen people now, be in a space where they found themselves. And it's been amazing.
It really has been amazing. But I also want to know, what do you have to say to certain people that actually say, if you're going to do hip-hop, you won't go mainstream? Because there's this notion saying...
What is mainstream?
Where you make a lot of money out of it. Because some people believe hip-hop is just for a selected few that to understand the bars,
nah,
the punchlines.
What do you mean make it mainstream, man? That's nonsense.
Yes,
it is nonsense, because I've seen hip-hop artists build houses and they're comfortable. So I don't understand this whole mainstream thing. I know how much hip-hop artists are getting paid when they do shows in Zambia, you know what I mean? If that's not decent enough, then I don't know. You understand? So there's no such thing as, move away from this, because it's how you communicate. We've had big hip-hop songs in the country. Why should things change today?
True.
It's understanding the demographic that you're doing the music for. And when you understand the demographic, then you know these are the people that I want. And if I can get these people to buy, that will be enough for me to get whatever I need to get. So I think we also need our artists to view things like that. Because if you're going to use someone else's success and say, that is the definition of success, then you're going to find yourself in a very terrible space. So music is music. You have to create it in a way that you feel is going to be easy for people to digest, or creative, whatever creative way you want to present it. And the people will decide if they want to consume. And also that's where the marketing side comes in. There's been big hip-hop songs, and we can't say mainstream is Afro beats or it's R&B or what. Mainstream, it can be anything. It's just how you package and present the music to the people and positioning, you know?
Most definitely. I love the fact that you've seen great hip-hop artists even make a living out of it, which is very, very true. And speaking of making a living out of it and going to perform, we are having something on Saturday. Please do kindly tell us about that.
Yes, so we have a concert on Saturday. This I'm very excited about. As you can see, like
your aura changed.
As you can see, like
smiling.
Like hip hop 50 Zambia concert. This has to be the first hip hop concert, like hip hop. You know, most of the times, like when we're doing concerts, like there's R&B people, but this is like hip hop, you know, and that's one thing I like about it. And I hope this is going to be the beginning of so many hip hop shows, because we got people that are hip hop heads, you know, and when they listen to the music, they're the ones that pick up all those to my crazy lines that you put there. And
the ones that listen to music with their stinky.
Yes, yeah, because they get it, you know what I mean? So it's amazing. I like the fact that there's going to be amazing acts that are going to be performing. I'm a fan of so many of the artists that are on the lineup, you know. I'd like to see what they're going to be doing. I do understand that it's a production and there's a lot of work that's happening in the background. Excited about seeing almost every artist. I'm excited about being on stage and doing what I need to do and just being a part of this, because I've been very versatile in my career.
Does this mean you only perform hip hop songs?
I've got it's a little bit.
It's like,
but Saturday is for hip hop. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna come there, you just know that there will be buzz. You know what I mean?
You're giving us the rapper Jay Rox.
Yeah, the rapper Jay. You know, that's the beauty. Like you can be this, you can be that. Yeah, but it's going to be raps.
But also, what does it mean to share a stage with the Grammy-nominated Timbuktu?
Yeah, it means everything. I like to be in a space of people that have, you know, been able to reach spaces that we're getting to, because it means you learn. You learn from the way they do the presentation, how they do the performance, and how they handle themselves. So for me, it's just I'm excited to learn, pick up what I can pick up, and apply to my musical career. I do also believe that our Zambian music is at a point where it's taking off and it's heavy.
It is.
I am a believer that a Zambian artist is very close, you know, to also getting into that Grammy space. But if we don't get into that space, I am also so proud of how far we've come. And being able to see Zambian music being celebrated in different spaces. I can see how many people are streaming my music from different countries, how many people are listening to Yo Maps, how many people are listening to Market 2, to Slap D, you know what I mean? It just shows you that we're moving. And we might just be the ones that build the bridge, and the next generation will come and cross it. But at least I know that we've been able to push to get it to a space.
We'll be odd and grey and said, you were not there when they just started it.
Yeah.
But also, there's something that I've seen, because even on Saturday, we'll get to have like a documentary and from Timbuktu as well.
Yeah.
I want to know as well, do you think this is something you probably might start doing? Because, listen, I feel like you're such a creative genius. It would be nice to get a short documentary, especially maybe like from the making of August there.
Yeah, the crazy thing is that you know I've been documenting my life from 2009. Okay. And I've got a documentary that I update every year.
When is it out?
It's not coming out anytime soon, because we're still building. But it's edited in the 1 hour plus, and it shows like Jay Rox from the beginning to Jay Rox today, the albums, the processes and everything. The traveling that I've done was documented. So it's there, but we also just need to know that we need to drop it at the right time. Yeah.